The Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles has seen countless deaths, crimes, and disappearances. But in January 2013, one case would rise above them all: the strange, tragic, and unsolved death of Elisa Lam. A 21-year-old student from Canada, traveling alone, suddenly vanished. She was last seen alive, inside an elevator. But the footage from that elevator shocked the entire world. In the video, Elisa presses several buttons, hides in the corner, moves her hands in strange gestures, as if talking to someone who isn't there. And then, she walks out and disappears. 13 days later, hotel guests began complaining about the water. The water tasted bad. It smelled strange. When a maintenance worker went to check the rooftop water tanks, he found Elisa Lam's body floating inside. This wasn't a simple death. It was a mystery that no one has ever been able to explain. Welcome to Dark Files, where real-life mysteries and true crimes meet the unknown. Today, we uncover one of the most chilling and confusing cases in modern history. The story of a young woman, an elevator, and a hotel that seems cursed. If you enjoy mysteries like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because what you're about to hear will make you question what's real. Elisa Lam was born in 1991 in Vancouver, Canada. She was intelligent, shy, and creative, but she also struggled with bipolar disorder. She kept an online diary on Tumblr, writing openly about her mental health, her dreams, and her fears. In January 2013, she decided to travel across California alone. Her plan was simple: San Diego, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. But in Los Angeles, she checked into a place with a dark reputation: the Cecil Hotel. The Cecil was built in the 1920s as a luxury destination, but over the decades, it had become a magnet for death and violence. Between the 1930s and 1980s, it witnessed dozens of suicides and murders. Even serial killers like Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, once stayed there. People said the hotel was cursed. On January 28, 2013, Elisa checked into the hotel. She called her parents every day to let them know she was safe. But on January 31st, she stopped calling. She vanished without a trace. When her parents couldn't reach her, they contacted the Los Angeles Police Department. Officers began searching the Cecil, but with more than 700 rooms, it was like searching a maze. They found Elisa's belongings in her room: clothes, laptop, wallet, everything untouched. But no sign of Elisa herself, no witnesses, no evidence. Then, 2 weeks later, police released a surveillance video from the hotel's elevator. It was recorded on the day Elisa disappeared, January 31st. The footage was 4 minutes long, but what it showed was unlike anything police had ever seen. Elisa enters the elevator wearing a red hoodie. She presses multiple buttons, almost every floor, but the elevator doesn't move. She hides in the corner, then peeks outside. She steps out, waves her hands strangely, almost like she's communicating with someone unseen. Then she leaves. A few seconds later, the elevator doors finally close. That was the last time Elisa Lam was ever seen alive. The video spread across the internet like wildfire. Millions watched it, analyzing every frame. Some said she looked terrified. Others said she was hallucinating. But nobody could explain what really happened after that door closed. 13 days later, on February 13th, guests at the Cecil began to complain. The water pressure is low. The water smells bad. It has a strange color. A maintenance worker named Santiago Lopez climbed to the rooftop to inspect the water tanks. They were large, sealed metal cylinders, each filled with thousands of gallons of water. When he opened one of the lids, he saw a human body floating inside. It was Elisa Lam. Her body was naked. Her clothes were found floating near her in the tank. There were no visible injuries. The police were stunned. The rooftop was locked and alarmed. Only hotel staff had access, and the tank lids were heavy, too heavy for a small woman to lift alone. How did she get inside? The autopsy later listed the cause of death as accidental drowning. No signs of sexual assault, no drugs, no foul play. Case closed. But the public didn't believe it. Nothing about this case made sense. Detectives reviewed every camera angle, every floor, every hallway, They interviewed guests, staff, even nearby residents. No one saw Elisa after the elevator video. No one heard her on the roof. Technically, she could have reached the rooftop through a fire escape, but it would have been extremely dangerous. The roof was restricted and the water tanks were tall and sealed. Police concluded Elisa may have suffered a manic episode, climbed up, and accidentally drowned. But that didn't explain everything. Why was the elevator behaving strangely? Why was the timestamp on the video distorted? Why were certain seconds missing? And how did she close the lid from inside? The internet exploded with theories. Some believed it was murder, a hotel staff member, maybe a guest, someone who knew the building. Others said it was all mental illness. But the strangest and most viral theory was known as the elevator game. This game originated from Korean urban legends. According to the myth, if you press certain floor buttons in a specific sequence, the elevator becomes a gateway to another dimension. 4th floor, set 2nd, 6th, 2nd again, 10th, 5th. If a mysterious woman enters, don't look at her, don't speak to her. If you do, you may never return to your world. In the video, Elisa presses many buttons, almost matching that sequence. Her gestures looked like she was interacting with someone unseen. It was eerie, almost supernatural. People began calling her case proof of the elevator game. A haunting idea, but impossible to prove. Another theory pointed to her mental health. Elisa's family confirmed she had bipolar disorder and sometimes forgot her medication. Experts said her behavior in the video might show signs of psychosis, seeing or hearing things that weren't there. That could explain the elevator footage, but not how she reached the rooftop, and not why her clothes were removed. Then came the murder theory. Many noted that the elevator video had a missing minute. The timestamp appeared blurred, possibly edited. Was the hotel hiding something? Could someone have followed her? The investigation never confirmed that. No physical evidence of another person was found. But online, the mystery only grew. Some believed the hotel itself was cursed. Over the years, countless deaths had occurred there. In 1947, a woman jumped from the 9th floor. In 1964, an elderly guest was murdered in her room. Serial killers once called it home. People began calling the Cecil the black hole of Los Angeles, a place where dark energy lingered. Paranormal investigators even brought EMF detectors and spirit boxes. They claimed strange readings near the water tanks. Coincidence? Or something else? And then came the most shocking connection of all, the dark water coincidence. In 2011, 2 years before Elisa's death, a Japanese horror film called Dark Water was released. The plot? A mother and daughter move into an old apartment building. Strange black water drips from the ceiling. Eventually, they discover a girl's body in the rooftop water tank. The similarities were disturbing. Years later, Netflix revisited the case. They interviewed the maintenance worker, the hotel staff, and the detectives. It turned out that the rooftop alarm might not have been working that night. And the tank lids? Some claim they were left open when Elisa was found, not closed. Even the police reports seemed inconsistent. Small details changed from one document to another. It was as if the truth was shifting over time, blurring between accident, cover-up, and something unexplainable. People went back to Elisa's Tumblr posts. In her final entries, she wrote things like, "I'm drowning in my own thoughts. No one hears me." It felt haunting, as if she sensed her own fate. Psychologists said Elisa's story shows how fragile the human mind can be, and how easily reality can blur for those who suffer in silence. But others believe she experienced something beyond human understanding. Either way, her story became more than a case. It became a reflection of loneliness, mystery, and the unseen darkness inside us all. The elevator video turned the internet into a giant detective board. People slowed down the footage, enhanced shadows, compared timestamps. Everyone wanted to solve it. But at what cost? Her family later said, "People are turning our daughter's death into entertainment." They were right. The Cecil Hotel became famous again. Tourists even visited the rooftop to see the tank. A real tragedy had turned into digital folklore. In March 2013, the LAPD closed the case. Cause of death: accidental drowning. No evidence of foul play, No suspects, no answers. But the internet never stopped searching. The video remains one of the most disturbing pieces of real footage online. And the questions remain. What really happened in that elevator? Was Elisa Lam a victim of her mind, or of something far darker? 14. Conclusion. Elisa Lam's story is a haunting reminder that truth isn't always clear. Maybe it was mental illness, maybe a crime, or maybe something we can't explain. But one fact stands. She was real. Her fear was real. And her story changed how we look at mysteries forever. Sometimes, the scariest things aren't monsters or ghosts. They're the things we'll never truly understand. 15. Outro. Call to action. What do you think happened to Elisa Lam? Was it an accident, a murder, or the elevator game? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you love dark mysteries, subscribe for more true crime stories. Because the truth is always stranger than fiction.